Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Two Vertz podcast. Um, I'm Colton. I'm here with James.
What's going on?
So Hunter and Devin clearly had more important things to do.
They're
Uh,
done. They
yeah, they
just
quit. They quit on us. So from this point on, it's just going to be us two.
yeah.
They they had the nerve to, I guess, spend time with family and right.
Friends.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, also Hunter's in India.
yeah, Hunter is in India. Um,
We don't know where Devin is. Do you know where he is?
I don't know where Devin is. The only thing I know is that he was on horseback on the beach.
He showed us a picture of him and his wife on a horse in on a beach. So
Yeah, I thought it was AI.
did you?
Well, I mean, at first when I looked at it, it looked like AI. And Hunter keeps sending like AI clips in the fucking chat. And that one of you with him was like kind of wild.
Oh yeah, that was kind of trippy.
There's the picture of you, and then you started like running, and then Hunter and his wife started like dancing together.
I don't know
And
how he's doing this shit.
I, I was like, bro, this man has too much time on his hands, apparently.
Well, he did just finish finals, and so now I guess he's just trying to find ways to fill his time because Hunter like finds some will kind of like he'll go all in like he did that with Legos when we were kids, like he made like a 10-foot Lego piece. Just you
Like
trying to see how high he could build like a Lego set.
I, I mean, I still do some Legos every now and then. I have some at the crib, so I mean, but like when I was a kid, when I had them, like there were so many extra pieces. I just ended up I never used them. I mean, I ended up they're probably in a box somewhere in my mom's garage. But like I was like, just give me the instructions and let me build it, and then I'm good. I'll just put it to the side.
Did you ever build the Millennium Falcon?
No, I always wanted that big ass Millennium Falcon or like the big ass Death Star. And now there's a Legend of Zelda Lego set, and it's like $400. And I'm like, well, I'm like, yeah, they price these way too high, bro. Like, so
Only thing
it's
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Only thing I ever did with Legos is I played the Lego Star Wars and Lego Batman
Yeah, those were I love
with
the
my sister.
Lego Batman and Lego Star Wars. I ran through those. Got Lego Indiana Jones. I also played. Uh, those were banger games. Still waiting on the for them to make one that's online, so we can run that.
I know that'd be kind of lit because for some reason they're multiplayer, but only on your console.
Like it's 2020, almost 2025, dude. Like you're telling me we can't get an online Lego Star Wars game? Like,
It would
come on.
probably take what, like 2 seconds for them to do it.
Yeah, like just I mean, come on now. Just go in the system and just put multiplayer, and then it's that easy. Do your jobs.
Yeah, I mean I mean, come on now.
I mean, it just breaks my heart.
It makes me heart sick.
Yeah, yeah, I got heart sick when I realized the new Lego Star Wars game wasn't multiplayer. I broke down in tears.
Oh wow! Meanwhile, the Bucks were playing the Thunder for the NBA Cup championship.
They are. I completely forgot that was happening until I went on Prize Picks to make a few bets, and I was like, "There's only one game on today, so I'll just throw a couple bets out there." And then I was like, "What?" And I looked, and it was like NBA Cup, and I was like, "Oh, that's that's cool, I guess." Um, I
Both
mean,
our teams were eliminated from the NBA Cup
yeah,
by the same team.
by OKC, like I don't.
Makes you want to puke.
Yeah,
Even thinking about it.
shout out Rockets, because we're doing the thing this year. We, I
What are
mean,
y'all doing?
we're
What
like
day?
we're like 17-9, and that's, I mean, glory to the basketball gods. I can't believe it. I'm just praying that we keep it up at least a little bit. So I mean, because yes, I'm excited and happy, but there's always this feeling in the back of my mind where I'm like, what if we just like choke? Like, what if
Or
we just have
gets
a bad
injured.
stretch? Yeah. I, I mean, like I said, even if like my goal this season for us is just get in the play-in tournament. You ain't have to win, just get in the play-in tournament. And now that we're like the 3 seed, I'm like, fuck that. Let's just make the whole thing. Let's make the playoffs and just lose in the first round probably because our offense is horrible.
I think y'all have the number one defense, though, don't y'all?
We do. That's the only reason we win games because our defense, our
I mean,
offense
that's
is.
how it is. I mean, personally, NBA, it's like if you have a great defense, like you're gonna make the playoffs every year. If you're like a top five defense, like
Yeah, if you're a top 5 defense, you're going to be good in the regular season. And honestly, you'll probably be pretty solid in the playoffs once everything like slows down and it's
yeah,
not fast pace. It usually translates pretty well, but you have to have like a go-to scorer. You have to have like, or at least like just snipers, just 3-point snipers everywhere.
would you want Jimmy Butler on the Rockets?
No,
So I've been hearing like trade rumors. Rockets was on his list. He had the Rocket, Warriors, and some other teams. But like, would you want to do a trade of like Tari Eason,
no,
uh, and like 2 picks for Jimmy?
no.
You would
I would
do
not.
that?
No, I don't. I don't want to trade Tari Eason. I don't want to trade Tari Amin. I think if Tari Amin and Jabari, I think Jabari is the one I'd probably trade. But
So would you do a Jabari and 2 picks for Jimmy Butler?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say because like he's getting old, and like, what if he just comes in and starts? He pulls a Timberwolves and just calls everyone soft and leaves.
I don't think he could call him soft because they're the number one defense. Like defense, if you number one defense, you're not soft.
Yeah, I mean,
Minnesota, like I mean, they were pretty soft. I
I
mean,
wouldn't be opposed to it, but like I do want the Rockets to make a move before the trade deadline, but I don't know. I think it should be for just like someone who can just get us buckets, whether that's off the bench or because Jalen Green is too inconsistent. Fred Van Fleet just went like fucking 0 for 10 from 3 against the Thunder. I mean, Dylan Brooks, I mean, we're not, I mean, yeah, okay.
so would you want like a CJ McCollum?
Yeah, that would be good. And someone like that would be good to come off the bench. Like that would change a lot.
You
Like
probably
a
have to
good,
trade for Ford Van Vliet though,
yeah,
because I think they make about the same amount of money.
it's difficult to kind of say because you want to keep the young guys, but also right now it's like, I mean, it's not the worst thing if we just play the season out like as is and just kind of see what happens and then just go, okay, well, we were the 6th seed and we lost in 6 to Denver or some shit like that, and then you just kind of go, okay, like we'll add a bench scorer. We need some, a better backup center. We need whatever while our young guys develop. Or who knows, they may go out and just fucking make a trade for fucking Kevin Durant or Devin Booker. I mean,
Oh
we have
my.
picks. I mean, I don't know. I think the Rockets GM is monitoring like a lot of situations, and I think we would always be the one of the first teams to kind of pounce on like an unhappy star
Yeah.
with all the picks and young assets we have. I think any team would want to make a trade with us, willing to offer. Like I think any team in the league would take fucking Amin Thompson. I mean, he's he has the potential to be the best player on our team. I think so. I
Really?
don't. I think so. I think if
Oh
he can get,
wow.
I think if he can get a jump shot down, I think he can probably be our best player. But I mean, he can play any position on the floor. Is the thing.
Yeah, I remember he and his brother Asar were like just like fucking crazy potential, just super athletes, and
super athletes, super defenders,
but
great
neither of
rebound.
them can shoot though.
It's funny how neither twin just can shoot the ball. I mean, Amen's getting it down a little bit, but I mean, you still probably, if you're a defense, you leave him wide the fuck open. Um, but I mean, I'm happy with where we're at. So whether we make a trade or we don't, I'm fine with it. But I
Hey, I
just don't
will
want.
say last year he shot 13% from three. This year he's shooting 29% from three.
He's getting better. He's getting better. I just don't want us to trade prematurely trade too much of the young guys and then find ourselves with a team that prematurely try to rush into a championship contention.
I hate when teams do that. Like they pull the trigger. Like Minnesota did that. When they traded for Jimmy Butler, and they were not like they should have waited. You know,
Yeah, they
like
did.
they
And
traded away Zach LaVine, Laurie Markkinen,
Chris Dunn.
and so, oh, and
Chris Dunn.
Chris Dunn. Yeah,
And two of them became
and
stars. I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, had they just like think about that core right there? Like you got Zach LaVine, Wiggins. Granted, Wiggins isn't perfect, but you got and then Cat and Lowry. Like that's a really good team. I mean, granted, now they're looking really good with Ant, and it worked out for them, but
they got lucky.
they did get lucky. Again, they pulled the trigger when they had a young Karl Anthony Towns and young Ant, and they traded for Gobert.
And
Granted, I mean,
luckily for them that trade looked horrible at first, like one of the worst trades of all time, and then it turned out to actually look not too bad. But then they follow it up again, and they're 3 games away from an NBA Finals appearance, and they fucking do it again. They fucking send off Cat for Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, and DiVincenzo can't fucking hit a shot to save his life. I'm pretty sure he's shooting like 26% from three right now. Some crazy shit like that. And then Julius Randle just fucking stinks.
Julius Randle, he may not even be there by the time the season's over. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. They just said they just sent him home. Honestly, I mean,
He's
it's pretty bad there.
I wouldn't want Julius Randle on my basketball team ever. I, I would it just he's just seems he's a horrible playoff performer. I mean, people give a lot of players shit and say that, like, but he genuinely is like the worst playoff performer for like his caliber
I'm pretty
that I
sure he, like just all the stats. I think he's like one of the worst ever
like. I remember when the Knicks made the playoffs with him that first year, and
against the Hawks, right?
yeah, against the Hawks,
They were the 4 seed, I think.
and yeah, they had home court, and he just stunk it up. I mean,
And
he
he was
just
like talking shit to the fans and everything.
he's a I just don't get the trade. Sure, it's a money thing for Minnesota. They don't want to pay Cat's big contract and then have to extend Ant to this massive deal and have 3 huge contracts. But it's like, dude, you didn't have to trade him this year anyway. You could have just waited for the offseason. Because I mean, I don't know. The money hasn't kicked in yet for Ant, I'm pretty sure. Unless I might be wrong.
They traded is because Towns going to make 60 million plus, and they're already above the second apron. But I'm like, why wouldn't you just trade Gobert? Why? I would rather keep Towns than trade Gobert. Me personally, but
Yeah, I know that he's like the anchor of the defense and everything, but I don't want to downplay what he does, but you could you could trade for like Walker Kessler.
well, literally, they traded go. Part of the trade of Gobert was Walker Kessler.
It was. And then you could just have had him for he's going to maybe give you 70% of the production, maybe, but he's
Had
going to
like
last
what, $4
longer.
million.
Yeah, and he's cheaper. He's a lot cheaper. So it's like centers are like centers are probably the most like expendable position because you could get like a decent center who
Daniel
could
Gafford for like
yeah, who can rim protect and rebound and catch lobs and dunk the ball for $10 million versus paying someone who can do that at a little bit higher of a level for 40 million, like Gobert or I'm trying to think of another like just center who got fucking paid. I mean,
Valanciunas.
Jonas Valanciunas, yeah.
He got like 11 mil from the Wizards.
He did. I mean, justifiably. I mean, guys like Chet are going to get like just massive deals. I mean, rightfully so. But the
I
guy
think
like
yeah,
centers who can do literally everything on the court, basically.
Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic. I mean, it's hard to, but like if you can get away with having like the Mavs. They have Gafford, but they've got Luca. They've got if you have a playmaker who can set them up, and then they just do their job of rim running, blocking shots, rebounding, then they look a lot better than they probably are.
Yeah, I mean Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. I mean, it's probably the best. Like in terms of just like centers who are both your centers are good. I can't think of a team of like there's like two centers who are both really good.
Yeah,
Like most
like
teams have like a really good center and like a really bad center. But both those guys are like I think on the game they're just both very serviceable.
I mean,
I
it's
feel
true.
like.
Yeah, I mean, you could play if one of them goes down, you have no issue because you just put the other one in. If one's having a bad night, the other one's probably not going to. But it like you're right. I mean, for example, like if you have an elite center, I mean, for fuck's sake, the Denver Nuggets are running out like 58-year-old DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
Like he has no business being on an NBA court, like
No.
at all. I just and even the Rockets, dude. Our backup center position is fucking horrible.
But it
Like
was Steven Adams.
he's trash.
Wait, he is? I thought he was playing good.
He's not playing very good. I mean, he's just.
Didn't he grab like a million rebounds when he's in the game?
I mean, probably before like the 2 years he missed or whatever it was.
Don't y'all have the junkyard dog though as well, Jock Landale?
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Oh, he didn't play anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't really. I mean, I'd rather just run Jabari. I'd rather just run fucking Amin Thompson at backup center
Oh yeah.
at this.
Uh,
But I mean, the Mavs have been on fire. I mean, outside of the lost to OKC, which we both suffered, but
yeah. They won like 9 out of 10 or something before that.
they did. They're on a roll. I mean, I expect them to at least probably make the conference finals again.
I think we're the second best team in the West. Now, granted, we can beat OKC, but we saw it last year. But they got even better, and it's gonna be tough. But I think if anyone can beat them, it's gonna be us, and that's probably maybe Denver if they get help. But
I
that's
don't
about
believe
it.
I don't believe in Denver like that anymore.
Well, only if they get like they make a trade and they get like or Jamal Murray just can figure out how to play basketball again. One of the two, or maybe
Yeah,
even both. Honestly, they might need.
I mean, I don't understand I don't understand the team. They win the championship in 2022. Then or 2023, right? My bad. 2023.
Yeah, 2023.
And then they let Bruce Brown walk. Like you could have just paid him out of pocket like $10 million,
Well, he got paid like 20 mil from the Pacers. Yeah,
like a 2 year deal. But like you could have paid him, and then they just let KCP walk. And then it's like, well, what are you doing? Like you had no bench last year. It was fucking horrible. You let like a 3-and-D player go, and then you are like, okay, we're just gonna trust Christian Braun, and it's like, why? Why are you like no acquisitions? They don't get a backup center. They have no fucking backup center. Wouldn't you want like at least a serviceable one while Jokic is out of the game? Because when he leaves the game, I'm pretty sure the stats are horrible. The plus minus of like
I think they
on the
become the worst team in the league when he's on the bench.
they're horrible. And Jamal Murray's just, I mean, every year it's like, well, he's like the best player to not make an All Star game. He's just, I guess this is why.
Yeah,
Porter Jr. is just kind of flatlined. I mean, I don't know.
Aaron Gordon's out there. I mean, Aaron Gordon's good. He fits well with Jokic, but
I
I think
mean,
they need to make a trade and trade Michael Porter Jr. for like a I don't know what they would trade him for, but I think he needs to be in the trade and then some picks.
I don't think they have much picks to work with.
Oh, do they?
I don't think they have, at least not a lot. But I mean, the NBA changes so fast. 2 years ago, after they won the championship, we were like, this might be like a dynasty. Like the starting five was like the most perfect starting five. They weren't
Yeah.
they weren't maybe like the best talent, most talented, but they fit the best. Like they all could do something that you
And they
know
all fit around Jokic.
they did exactly. You have shooters, offensive point guard who is decent playmaker. He could shoot. I mean, he didn't even need to be a playmaker with Jokic on the court. You have Aaron Gordon who does all the dirty work. I mean, they
Michael Porter Jr. is knockdown shooter. KCP 3 and D.
put him on the best perimeter guy. I mean,
Yeah,
and then Bruce Brown was like a perfect six man,
he
and
was. Yeah.
they had uh they had like Jeff Green too, Uncle Jeff.
Christian Braun was pretty good for a rookie. I mean, he's gotten better. I think Christian Braun.
They just have a lot of guys who just never panned out, like Zeke Naji. Like, I mean, he just never came anything, and then I don't know. They just things change, and now we're sitting here saying that the Celtics are probably a fucking dynasty,
I hope
which
not.
I don't either. I felt nothing when the Celtics won the championship. I mean, I know you were pissed because obviously the Dallas lost, but for me, I was like, this is just
I
when
mean,
Denver won. I was happy when Denver won. I like all their players. I was happy that for the franchise. I mean, I like the Nuggets organization. I've always liked the Nuggets. Like ever since I started watching basketball. Um,
yeah.
like back when the Iguodala team, that was one of my
Oh my gosh, yeah.
favorite teams back then. Kenneth Fareed and Ty Lawson.
The fast break Nuggets. They
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 were.
would just was Corey Brewer on that team?
I
Because he would have fit in perfectly. Corey Brewer was a guy who would just like cherry pick every single time he could and just blow a fast break layup. Like he
one
would
of
have
my
fit perfectly.
one of my favorite Rockets back in the day, Corey Brewer.
Yeah.
I remember meeting Corey Brewer. I have a picture with him,
Uh,
literally right next to me.
I think I've seen the one with you and Pat Bev as well, right?
Yeah, I have that picture right next to me too on my
Oh
side
wow.
table. Me and Corey Brewer. I was waiting outside at Toyota Center going into a game, and Corey Brewer. I guess he lived like right next to it, one of the places there, and he was just walking in through the side, and I was like, Corey. I was like, can I have a picture? And then he's like, yeah, like real quick. And then I took a picture with him, and then everyone then saw and was like, oh, can I have a picture? And he's like, I don't have time. I was like,
That's
fuck y'all.
hilarious.
Like, fuck y'all. I met Nene.
Oh, Nene Hilario, when he at your work?
Yeah, he came into my job. I remember I was so fucking like nervous because I loved Nene when he was on the Rockets. That was my guy. And Nene came into my fucking job at a sushi restaurant, and he started just eating, and I was behind the bar. He didn't sit at the bar, but I was like, oh my god, like holy shit! Like not a lot of people knew who he was, if anybody there, and I was like, dude, that's Nene. It's like he was on the Rockets, and then everyone was like at the bar was like, "Go!" Like when he was getting up to lift, they're like, "Go, go, go, say hi!" And I was like, "Oh God!" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "God!" I went up to him and I was like, "Nene." I think I was like, I don't remember exactly what I said. But I was like, "Nene, I loved you when you were with the Rockets. Like, I'm a big fan. Like, can I get a picture?" And he was like super fucking nice, dude. He was so nice. He was like, "Yeah, dude, like no problem."
And he's
Like
like 6'11".
he's massive, bro. He's so fucking big. Like it's just cool that he was so nice because he could have been like, no, like, eh. I was like,
I
dude,
don't
like
know.
I
My first thought would like if I saw like the Nene, I would ask them, "Hey, what was like playing with Marcin Gortat?" I would like when they're on the Wizards. That's like the first thing I feel like I would ask them.
bro, like when you grab Jimmy Butler by the back of the neck.
Oh yeah, when he did that, like didn't he put up in a Brazilian chokehold or
Yeah,
something?
something like that.
That's so
And
crazy. And he's Brazilian, right?
yeah, he is Brazilian.
Do you remember him having like an accent and all?
Yeah, it was a little bit of an accent,
Oh
but
wow.
he would go to. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if he still lives here, but he lived here for a while, and he would go to the Lifetime Fitness right across from my job, and he would just play pickup games with people. And my friend Sam played against him.
Oh
Um,
god.
he was Sam's like 6 foot, 6'2", maybe 6'1", maybe somewhere like he's 6 foot something. So he they made him play center and guard Nene.
Oh my
So
god.
he actually like played against the name. He was just getting. He's like, dude, I got cooked.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a whole like 10 inches. I mean, come on now. That's if I was guarding the net, I would just like shake his hand, and just, just tell
Yeah,
him, "Here
good.
you go,
Yeah,
congrats."
GG's. I'm just gonna be spotting up from three, I guess, because I'm not.
Yeah, try and space the floor.
Yeah,
But it's like barbecue chicken when if he's got the ball in the paint, it's over. I mean, come on now.
yeah. I always my friend Sam. That we always. I think I compared his game to like Demontis Sabonis.
Did you?
Yeah, because he always ran the five, but he would
That's,
like play make like out of the
that's
post.
that's really funny.
I'm like, dude, you're like Sabonis or something.
I think I remember. Wasn't you? Didn't I compare you to? Was it Monte Ellis?
Monte
His
Ellis. Nowadays, I'm like Fred VanVleet. Inconsistent. I can get hot or extremely. I can go for 10 in a game, or I can go like 6 for 7,
That's a good comparison, Fred VanVleet.
and I can like play some defense. I can play make a little bit, and I'm like but you don't know what you're gonna get from me any game. I'm either gonna shoot the team out of the game, or I'm gonna win it single handedly for us.
Yeah. I remember I was always telling like my game was like Jeff Green, but I
Yeah,
feel like honestly my game is I don't know. It's Kenneth. I think about Kenneth Freed a lot because I go off the rebounds a lot, but I think I can play make better than Kenneth Freed could. So somewhere in
rebounding.
between.
You're a good shooter, so it's like
I feel like I'm a streaky shooter. Like same with you. Like, but I can't. I'm more of like a mid range guy than like I'm kind of like an antique now. Like I don't really go for. I can make threes, but like I much rather shoot the mids because it's a especially when you're playing make it take it. Like to me, like a mid's just a lot easier.
it's a
But
lost art. The mid
it
range
is
game.
well. There's some
Mar
guys,
DeRozan
Kevin Durant, yeah, DeMar, Booker,
and
Chris
Chris
Paul.
Paul.
There's a couple
Then
guys.
mid range. Yeah, I mean, shit. Back then, Tony Parker.
Yeah, King of the floater.
And his free throw that airballed. Remember that one?
Oh my God, yeah.
He said it slipped out of his hands.
I mean, it's what I mean, like for like it's probably the worst free throw ever, but I think it did. He just kind of like he didn't actually shoot it, like
It's. I mean, yeah, the worst. It is the worst free throw ever.
I think the
Probably.
worst free throw ever is this on his job. If you've
I
ever
mean,
seen it,
when you talk about not even coming close to the rim,
like
I was.
he actually like followed through. The job actually followed through and everything. Like
He did.
I mean, that was just like
That's that's uh, that's what I loved about the NBA like even like 10 years ago, bro. Like there were so many players who had no business being on an NBA team. It was so funny. Like
mostly centers, but just like guys who were just big. That's why they were. And that's what it was in the '90s too. I hear like it's just guys
yeah,
who are big. That's why they were in the NBA.
that's it. I mean, it was just yeah. I mean, when we were playing like the NBA eras, it was just a bunch of like going through all those old players and stuff. It was like the 80s and 90s. It's like I guess if you're just like 6'10", like 6'11", 7 foot, and you're a big white guy, they're just like, all right, dude, you have you have no talent. Just throw him in there. He'll at least deflect some shots or grab a rebound.
Luke Longley, yeah, it was a
Luke
prime
Luke
example.
Luke Longley, Bill Winnington.
Bill
Uh,
Winnington, wow, yeah.
who's
Bill
that guy?
Lambie. mean, Bill Lemire actually has some talent. He could shoot a
I thought,
little.
yeah, he could shoot. Who's that one white guy on the Jazz? That center?
Keith? Was that his
Uh,
name?
no, no. God, it's
Oh,
gonna kill me.
the Greg Ostertag?
Greg, yeah, Greg Stertag, dude.
He was like 7'2". Like he was like drafted like in the fucking 5th round or some shit. But
Yeah,
I don't know if he ever played basketball before. I mean, he probably did. He's 7'2". I mean, scissor. If you're 7 foot and you don't ever play basketball, it's like it's just like, what are you
kind of a
doing?
waste, you know. Like if I was 7 foot, I mean, I played. We played basketball. I played it growing up, probably from like age 6 to 12 or some shit, you know. But I'm five 5'10", so it's like 5'10", 5'11". People swear I'm 6 foot, but I'm like I'm not 6 foot. I'm like 5'10", and I'm like if I was 7 foot, I would have been like I'm just gonna stick with basketball because like I'm
Yeah,
gonna get scouts' attention regardless. I'm fucking 7 foot.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
but nowadays everyone's so skilled in the NBA. I mean, and if you're not, you're pretty much out of the league. I mean,
yeah. It's the one downside of now. Like literally because of the shooting, like influence of Steph and like it's just now. It's if you can't shoot, you better be a really athletic center. That's about it. I mean, or if you can't shoot, you better be like able to do everything else, like Alvin Thompson.
yeah, like defense, rebound, athleticism. You know, you have to be an elite defender if you're not going to be a good shooter.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then even then, you're probably not going to last too long if your only thing is just defense. Because like you at least got at some point you got to develop a jumper. I mean, at
Yeah,
least one that at least you 34% from three. I would say if you can shoot that, then you can stick around for a long time. Because once the athleticism is gone, then it's like, what else can you really bring to the table? If you want to last a long time. That's why like Brooke Lopez. I mean, he talked about like the biggest change of an NBA game I've ever seen in my life.
yeah. We went
Went
from
from
post ups, mid range, couldn't defend. Now he's a 3-point sniper, and almost won Defensive Player of the Year a couple years ago.
yeah, he didn't even play in the post. Horrible rebounder.
Oh yeah, he's still terrible at rebounding though.
7 foot, can't rebound.
It doesn't
He
make
just
any sense.
stands at the 3 point line and just chunks them up. Plays elite defense. This he's like 38 probably or some shit like that. He's old. He's late 30s and he's probably going to be in the league for at least, I mean, at least another 2 or 3 years.
I remember a couple years ago, like whenever he went to the Lakers, it was the first year of him kind of shooting threes, and the Lakers ran a pin down for him, like to get open for a three. And Jeff Van Gundy, or was it, yeah, the ESPN was like, I think that's the first time I've ever seen a pin down for a 7 footer not named Dirk Nowitzki. Like, or for a setter, because Dirk was the power forward.
Yeah,
So
Dirk
it looked so funny.
Dirk paved the way.
Dirk, he was the first big bang shooter. Like, no, I mean, you say Bird, but Bird was a small forward, so I wouldn't really count him.
Yeah, Dirk, I mean, he
7 footer.
yeah, he was just a wild. He was just crazy. I mean, he definitely a lot of people definitely and so inspired their game after his, which is why every for like the I guess the early 2010s at least like 20 up to like 2015 2016 these big white power forwards would just get drafted because they could shoot and they'd just be compared to Dirk. If you're a white
Yeah,
7 foot if you're a white 7 foot player and you can shoot, you're Dirk.
yeah, especially from Europe. Like, the first one was Kristaps Porzingis, and then because he had a great rookie year, the Suns took Dragon Bender the next year, who was a complete buff. But I remember they both got compared to Dirk. And then
And then
Larry Marketing came in
yeah,
a couple of years after that. He got Dirk comparisons.
yeah,
I was
Dragon. And the funny part is Markkanen and Porzingis became all stars and are actually good players. And the Suns, of course, were the one team that missed out.
yeah,
They took Dragon Bender, who played maybe 2 years in the league and was literally fucking horrible.
I remember they took two power forwards in the same draft. They both sucked.
Marquise Chris, dude.
Yeah, pick 4 and pick 8. They both were out of the league in a couple of years.
Marquise Chris. The only thing I ever remember from him was he just fought people. I remember
Really?
he just shoved Rubio to the ground one time. I, the Suns, I always say it, dude, when we talk about like previous drafts, I was like, I remember the Suns were just, besides Devin Booker, were just horrible at drafting.
Yeah, I remember they took Josh Jackson at pick 4.
Josh Josh Jackson, Dragon Bender, Marquise Chris. I'm pretty sure they took like Kendall Marshall pretty high.
Elfrid Payton.
Did they take Elfrid Payton?
Yeah, and then he went to the Magic, I'm pretty sure, after that.
Yeah. They the Kings were bad at drafting too. I mean, it just
Oh, well, the problem with the Kings, they were drafting centers even though they already had DeMarcus Cousins on the roster. And the centers weren't even, it hit Willie Cauley-Stein and Georgios Papagiannis. Back-to-back years who were centers.
and then they took Nick Stauskas.
Oh, my God.
I don't
Ben
understand
McLemore.
Ben McLemore.
I don't
Yeah.
know how he wasn't a good player. I still don't get it.
I remember before that draft, like months leading up to it, he was at one point considered number one pick. I
I don't
mean,
know what happened. Granted, that draft was terrible regardless. Was that 2013?
that was the Bennett. No, that was Nerlens Noel.
That
That was
class was much better, though.
because was that Bennett?
Oh, yeah, Bennett and Noel was the same draft class.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, that was the worst draft class I've ever seen. 20 people are saying this draft class is historically bad, and I would have to agree so far because we're talking about rookie of the year, and like they're talking about Stephon Castle, who's coming off the bench for the Spurs.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like Jared McCain just tore his like labrum, so he's not going to win it, even though he was pretty much runaway. And even then, he wasn't even starting. Now that all the other players are healthy again, so but that draft class 2013, that was something special.
Who
Anthony Bennett,
drafted Nerlens Noel?
the Pelicans, and then they traded him to Philly for Drew Holiday.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I was like, wouldn't he like pick 6? Because I remember
Yeah,
that top five is probably the worst top 5 of all time. You had
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett go number 1. Oladipo went number 2. He was bad most of his career, except for that 1 year in Indiana.
And
At least
then
like for a second overall pick, bad. Like,
he was basically looking like maybe like the fifth best player on a starting five. Like,
yeah, like a KCP kind of.
yeah,
And the third pick,
Otto Porter.
yeah, he had a
Otto
couple
Porter.
years where he was a good role player. He got paid, but he was a bust.
He was. I mean,
He did win a championship with the Warriors at the end, though.
he did. He was a good
But
complementary piece on those Wizards teams because he was a sniper from three. But I mean, if you're taking pick three, if you're taking in the top five, I think anything less than at least a couple All-Star appearances is pretty disappointing.
yeah.
And then it gets even worse because what number four was Cody Zeller.
Oh
And
my.
Cody
Cody
Zeller
Zeller?
Cody Zeller was picked four from I think they were
Hornets?
still the Bobcats. No, maybe they were the Hornets at that time, but they were that was
It was around the transition area because I don't know. I think they might have been the Bobcats still, but yeah, that was pretty awful. And then pick 5, Alex Lynn.
and he's the only one still left in the league of those.
That's actually crazy. He was like probably. I thought he was probably the worst one too. Like when they
He was
extra late.
horrible. He was horrible. I mean, I remember like when I was watching like some of that stuff, he was like airballing hook shots. Like
Yeah,
he was like, I mean, nothing beats Bennett missing his first like 26, 27 shots of his rookie year.
Yeah,
To the
that's
point where
factor.
like game 5 he hit a shot and they're like, oh,
It's like when
like
Ben Simmons hit a three.
ever the
Yes.
crowd is going crazy in a preseason game.
The announcer said, "Hold me back."
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Only good thing to come out of that draft was Giannis Antetokounmpo, McCollum, and then Rudy Gobert. That's about it.
Yeah, there might have been like a second rounder or something that came out
But
of it. Let me
mostly just Giannis. I mean, that's
let me actually look up the order.
and I'll never forget the Mavs could have drafted Giannis, but they didn't. And Dirk recently just said that would have been he'd be a bad GM because he said that Giannis was too skinny and he wouldn't make it in the NBA when the Mavs were thinking about drafting him.
God. Yeah, here's some notable names from the 2013 draft, whether they're still in the league or they're retired. So obviously 6 was Nerlens, 7 was Ben McLemore, 8 was KCP, which that's a good pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
Michael Carter Williams, who was the rookie of the year at 11. Um, I mean, Steven Adams was 12. I mean,
that's pretty decent.
uh, Schroeder was late in the draft. How about Andre Robertson in the second round?
He was good for a couple years.
Archie Goodwin, remember that name?
Oh my, yeah, I'm still shocked he didn't become a good player. I remember the Suns were always saying he was the first one in the gym and the last one to leave. And he never got any better.
Yeah, that
So,
might be true, but he apparently wasn't learning anything. How about Alan Crabb? Remember that payday he got?
oh my God, yeah.
Alan Crabb.
He had like one good year and got paid for it.
He got so much fucking money. Jeff Withey, only known for getting postered by Xavier Henry.
Yeah, his college teammate.
Ricky
remember,
Leto.
remember Xavier Henry Lakers said they found a diamond in the rough because he had that cool dunk on Withy and like had a couple good games.
He did, yeah. The Lakers thought they struck gold, and
And then he was out of the team after that year.
God, I mean, Isaiah Cannon, bro. Rockets draft Isaiah Cannon. I remember him.
He had a couple good plays.
And he did. He was fine. Ricky Leto.
Mavs.
Uh,
Wasn't he on the Mavs?
yeah, he was on the Mavs. Other than that, dude, it's like, I mean, a couple like Gorgie Zhang, Mason Plumlee, Tim Hardaway Jr., Reggie Bullock. I mean, it's a lot of guys who were just decent, I
Just
guess.
role players.
And yeah, like they were yeah, just not that good.
He had one guy from that draft class who was the best player on the championship team, which usually there's not any. Like I feel like most draft classes has no one that was the best player on a championship team because most years obviously you can't win a championship. It's like so.
And for so long, it was run by LeBron, Steph,
Durant for 2 years,
and just recently now it's like a new team every year.
there's been
But
a repeat champ since 2018.
yeah, I mean, which is nice, but I find it hard to believe that Boston won't win it this year. They're just built too well.
They really are. Like that's the perfect way to build a team.
And now you have like Peyton Pritchard, who's like averaging like 13 a game off the bench, and it's like, oh my god, dude! Like
Yeah, Brad Stevens got so much shit for when he got that job, but I mean, clearly he's. I mean, come on now.
he's
He's
literally built like I thought the Nuggets were built perfectly a couple years ago. This Celtics team is just. I mean,
I
they
mean,
have everyone on their team can play. I mean, everyone on their team can pretty much do everything, play defense and offense.
well, their entire starting five is all they all can defend and all can shoot, all can play make. I mean, I don't know what more you can really ask from a starting five.
Even on their bench, you have if Porzingis is healthy. I mean, Al Horford, who sniper and can play defense, and Peyton Pritchard, who's just so lights out.
Sam Hauser.
Hauser, who's a sharpshooter. And the thing is, you don't even need anything but shooters on your bench because you can just have two starters out there at all times and
Yeah.
play defense, and then you always have at least two starters in. So you only need like an 8 to 9 man rotation, especially come playoffs.
I think most teams are about 8 when the playoffs hit. But usually regular season you play about like 9 to 10, I think.
Or if you're Steve Kerr, you play like 12 men deep on the Warriors.
Yeah, or if you're Steve Kerr. But now what do they give up for Dennis Schroeder? Do you know?
The injured D'Anthony Melton, who's supposed to miss all year in like 3 seconds.
That's it?
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, why you couldn't get a first round pick for Dennis Schroeder? He's playing like extremely well. Like, I don't know.
That's shocking because I feel like that Nuggets could really use Dennis Schroeder, and that's all he's worth.
Like, fuck, the Rockets could have done that.
Yeah, I'd rather have Dennis Schroeder than Fred VanVleet. No offense.
I mean, we could have given up second round picks and just had him come off the bench for a little bit, but I don't
Well,
know.
the Nets, it worked out for the Nets because they're trying to be terrible, and they have way too good of a roster. So I wouldn't be shocked if they start unloading a bunch of guys from their team, like
Finney
Dorian
Smith,
Smith, yeah, Finney Smith, Cam Johnson, Claxton, maybe even. I mean, he's pretty young, but they might trade him too. I mean, Bogdanovich isn't Bogdanovich on that team?
he's still kicking. He's still
Yeah,
around.
I mean, for what he's worth, I could see them just unloading guys because they have their picks finally, so it's time for them to just be terrible.
You're not going to out tank the Wizards. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think the bottom 4 teams all the same amount of odds.
Yeah, the Wizards and the Jazz they got the memo, and the Jazz are another.
Pelicans got it too, apparently. They have 5 wins on the season, which is
They're just
2 more than the Wizards.
they're just cursed. That franchise is cursed. If I was a Pelicans fan, I'd probably just kill myself. To be honest with you,
Probably quit being a fan.
I would. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason no one in Louisiana is really a Pelicans fan. They're all just Saints fans.
Well, I remember for after their Katrina. No, that was actually the Saints, I think, actually. But after Katrina, I think the Saints owner was trying to move the Saints out of New Orleans, and then like that obviously like did not happen. I know the Pelicans, whenever he bought them, there were like rumblings of him like moving them because they're always 30th and then like team sales and just like attendance every year. Like just no one in New Orleans cares about basketball.
They don't. It's LSU. It's Saints. No one gives a shit. I think they would probably be the first team if there was a relocation. I think they're probably the team to do it. I would think that
Yeah,
easily. I
you're not
mean, they,
moving. You're moving. Any other team I think is safe. You know, even the Wizards. I mean, they're terrible, but I mean, they're not going to leave. They've been in Washington forever.
yeah, they're fucking horrible and their attendance is shit. But yeah, I don't think they'll leave. I mean, New Orleans is the place I can think of. Other than that, I think every place is pretty safe. I mean, all you really have to do for I mean, if the Wizards had like when they had John Wall and everything, I'm pretty sure they had a pretty good attendance. All you have to really do is build a good team, and your attendance goes up. But I even think if the Pelicans had a good team, I still don't think people would give a shit.
Yeah, I don't think they. I mean, I wouldn't, but I'm not a Pelicans fan, so
I mean, there was hype with Zion, but
it died down quickly though.
damn shame.
They had a good team. Remember, they had Lonzo, Zion, Ingram. Like they had a good future. And now look at it. It's just
It's pretty
terrible
much
every
all
year.
gone. I heard everybody's up for trade too, even Zion.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to trade Ingram for about a year now, and no one wants him.
I mean, I don't know. He's a I like Ingram, but I like all their pieces. I like all the Pelicans pieces. I just don't like them all together.
Which it should work because they look at their team like all like Ingram's a great like scorer. You have Jose Alvarado is a great defender and secondary playmaker. McCollum's a great playmaker.
DeJounte Murray's supposed to be a good two-way player. And then you got Herb Jones, probably one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. He can shoot as well. Trey Murphy can shoot. The problem with them is just every year's injuries. I feel like every year there's just guys out. Like
Zion hasn't had a healthy season besides maybe one of them, and Ingram can't stay healthy. Yeah, Murray's out. CJ's out. Herb Jones has been out. Jose's out right now. So it's like I don't know. I've seen a lot of Herb Jones trade rumors. Apparently, the Dallas is like
oh,
the one. So
who
I
would
mean,
we even trade for him? We I don't know who would even trade though because he'd come home off the bench unless we're going to bench Klay Thompson, which I'd be fine with. I mean, he's very consistent.
Quentin Grimes is playing better than him right now.
Grimes is balling out. Grimes has been great, and so has Najee Marshall. And then PJ Washington, I think he's like honestly PJ. If we lost PJ Washington, I think he's honestly outside of Luka and Kyrie. PJ Washington's probably our third most important player because whenever he's in there, like his defense and rebounding's incredible. He can play make, and then whenever he's shooting and scoring, I think we're unbeatable. Honestly,
Yeah, it's just when he's on. Because
like
sometimes
if
he
he's
just
yeah, if he's shooting good, like we're almost unbeatable because it's just there's about three guys that are just like going for 20 every night. If PJ's doing the same.
and then you have Clay who can do the same thing. If everybody's on, then it's like I don't really know how you stop them. I guess unless you're Boston, you just outshoot them by shooting 30 more threes than them.
Yeah, I mean, I will say with that series against Boston, I wasn't even like mad we lost because we weren't even close to beating them. I was just glad we didn't get swept. It's like they were so much better than us, and I was like, this isn't even really a series. Like, I'm just glad. Like, whereas Minnesota, every game was close. I mean, you just kept winning close games. That was probably the funnest series I've ever watched as a Mavs fan, outside of like the Heat finals. Because, but I don't know if I ever count that because I wasn't really. I was just becoming a fan. Whereas, that Minnesota series, I mean, this time after time, just we're hitting clutch shots, making comebacks. So that shit was so damn fun.
Yeah, that was it was a close 5 game series. I think as a Rockets fan, my favorite series probably I don't know. I mean, the Clippers 3-1 comeback was kind of crazy.
I feel like it had to be that, right?
Probably. I mean, we had a lot of good ones, but honestly, we never really found ourselves in too much when we had Harden. We didn't find ourselves outside of the Warriors in too much
Yeah.
situations where we were like pushed to the limit. Like I'm trying to think of like Game 7 series outside of that. I mean, sure in the bubble with fucking OKC, but I mean, come on now. We didn't have a chance anyway. I knew we were getting smacked by the Lakers. Um, and then like other than that, I mean, I'm trying to think of other series. Like when we had Chris Paul. I mean, we beat like the Timberwolves in the first round in 5. We beat the Jazz with rookie Donovan Mitchell in 5. I mean,
I mean,
that year we played the Mavs. I mean, we beat them in 6, I think.
when you played the Mavs.
In the
Oh, with
first,
Rondo?
when Rondo quit on the team in like the first quarter.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he got an 8 second, and then defend Jason Terry on the 3 on the inbound, and then he was basically done for the series. And they said he like, had a back injury. That was such bullshit. He
They
was
said
fine. He just quit on the team.
it was like when LeBron, God, what series was it? He lost. He came out with a cast on his hand,
It was against the Warriors in the finals, 2018.
and it
Like,
never said anything about an injury. He comes to the post game press conference with a cast. Everyone's like, "Well, we got the excuse. We got the excuses already built in."
yeah. Once he was like leaving the court, he was dapping up all the Warriors players with his left hand instead of his right. He like wasn't using after he used his right hand the entire series because apparently he like punched a hole in the wall after Jr. fucked up game 1. Well, actually George Hill fucked up. Jr. just grabbed the rebound, but George Hill missed the free throw.
Yeah, J.R. Smith gets all the hate for that play. Meanwhile, no one talks about George Hill. Could have won the game if he just made the free throw.
Yeah, I mean, how about Jared Smith grabbing the rebound? I mean, if Kevin Durant grabs that rebound, they can go. Warriors could win the game, but I mean, Jared out rebounded him. But
Yeah, but who are we? Who are we to say? I mean, that was the third, fourth time they met. I didn't even watch really.
I was the fourth time. I had nothing else to do at that time because I was in the middle of the desert, so I watched that series.
Yeah, by the fourth one, I was like, "It's Warriors are going to kill them." Like, what are we hyping this up about? Like the promotional posters of like Durant, Steph, and Draymond, or Clay versus like LeBron, Kyle Korver, and Tristan Thompson.
Yeah,
It was like, what are we, bro? What are we doing, dude?
that's game one though reminded a lot of. I don't know if you ever watched the highlights of the 2001 finals of AI versus Kobe and Shaq
Yeah,
Lakers. He dropped 50 and beat him, and LeBron was on his way to doing it. He had 50 and was about to take him down, but he obviously lost.
yeah. I
Would
mean,
you say that Warriors team with 2017 was the greatest team of all time? At least yet you've seen.
that I've seen, yeah, that Warriors team was easily the greatest of all time. 2017, 2018. I mean, they were just. It was one of those things where you walked into the season and you were like, they're gonna win. I mean, like, I mean, even with Boston right now, it's like, yeah, they're probably gonna win, but like maybe like a
Yeah,
team, the Bucks or the Mavs or Nuggets or maybe one of these teams could, knock them off. Because Boston, I mean,
I think
besides
yeah. Go
besides
ahead.
la- besides last year, Boston always found a way to choke.
Yeah,
I
especially
mean,
but now there's no more heat, so they don't have to worry about that.
yeah,
I personally think that they'll just run through Cleveland if they're healthy. Cleveland to me has no chance.
yeah. Cleveland starting off like 17-0 this year. I mean, it was. I mean, I'm just. I just can't see a world where they go in and beat the Celtics in the playoff series. I mean, to be honest with you, they could lose to Milwaukee in the second round, or trying to think who else. I mean, honestly, that's probably it in the East. The Sixers suck. I mean,
Only other teams I can see. I think Milwaukee has the second best chance of beating Boston, and then if the Knicks could ever get their defense back on, just back, and if Orlando gets Paulo back and he's playing like a top five player, then I give them a chance. But for the most part, I give Boston about a 90% chance. I would say 80% chance to come out of the East.
yeah, if everybody's healthy, then definitely. The West is just a kind of a toss up. I mean, everyone's probably thinking Thunder. I mean, that's like the easy pick, I think, to say who's going to make it out of the West is probably OKC.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I mean, they I don't know. They're young still, kind of, but it's like a matter of time, I guess. At this point, it's like they're going to make a finals, and they're probably going to win one.
I
But
don't know. We thought that their last big three group they had.
that's true
They never won it. They only made one finals with that group too, which is so crazy.
because they could have amnestied Perkins.
They could have Anasik Perkins and kept the big three and Ibaka, but instead they let Harden. They traded Harden for a bag of chips.
And they let Harden go. So thank you, OKC, for not amnestying Perkins.
It worked out for you, and it worked out, I guess, for all of us because they didn't end up winning a championship. So
Yeah,
actually, did it work out for because you got Harden, but then Durant eventually left and went to join the Warriors.
yeah. I mean, I don't know what the Rockets would have been if we didn't get Harden in the 2010s. I swear to God, running into that with Jeremy Lin as the star player, we're losing pretty much every game.
Yeah, I mean
Jeremy Lin, Omer Ashik, fucking who else was even
Parsons.
Bart Chandler Parsons? I mean, come on,
Wow.
come on, bro. I mean, like that horrible. I mean, we
Got
just we were coming off the Luis Scola years.
Oh yeah, it's Shane Battier,
Shane Battier, Kevin
Kevin
Martin.
Martin.
Yep. Yeah. God, if we didn't get Harden, I mean, at least we had fun years and some playoff success. We didn't make a finals, but at least it was fun for me, and it made basketball extremely fun to watch for me. And now we're good again, because I swear to God, bro, these last 3 years have been. I feel like with any sport, it's hard to like. I feel like with any sport, it's a little less enjoyable when your team fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, basically my entire childhood after the Mavs, we won a title. We didn't win another playoff series for 11 years. So my entire childhood growing up after that championship was just knowing the Mavs were gonna suck. So I was like, that's why I have like all these teams I like now, because I had to find other teams to cheer for, because I knew the Mavs weren't gonna do dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, you could be like the biggest fan of a sport, but like in the back of your head, you're always going to be a little bit less. You're always going to be a little less enjoying of the season when knowing that your team is just horrible, and you're like, well, we have no chance. So I guess I gotta like just yeah, like find new teams to root for. But like at the end of the day, my team's shit. So it's like, I mean, Texans. I mean, that's the Rockets' 3 years of being awful seemed like a decade.
It was 3 years.
There's 3 years of being terrible.
That's a quick rebuild. That really is.
I can't imagine how Pistons fans or
Wizards fans.
Wizards fans. I can't imagine how they fucking even are still a fan of like, it's loyalty. I tell you that much. You truly are a fan if you're a Pistons fan, just watching your team for what? How many years without a playoff win?
The iPhone's been out longer than the last time Pistons got a playoff win.
The iPhone's been out long. So like 07 or some shit. 08.
Yeah.
Oh my
Because
god.
they made the playoffs, I want to say twice. Because they split. They got split by LeBron when he was on Cleveland. I don't know if maybe they only made it once.
They made it twice because
Oh, with Blake Griffin, they made it again, and it got one, probably the worst playoff series of all time against the Bucks. Every game was like 109 to like 50. I would like look up. I was like, oh my god.
I think I watched maybe like one half of that series, and then
Together, like the game
we
one, I think we watched
we
together,
did, and it was horrible. It was
and
fun
like this is
because
one of the worst things I've ever seen.
it was an enjoyable season because I mean that was a fun Blake Griffin year.
Yeah, I mean he was on one knee though, and putting up all-star numbers.
That was honestly the best year of Blake Griffin's career, statistical wise.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, and then he just, I mean, he just
in the
couldn't his
playoffs,
body handle
yeah,
it.
he was playing on one knee in the playoffs, and everyone's like, "You're down 50, Blake. Just go, just quick, get out the game, bro. Like,
Please, you're gonna kill yourself.
there's no chance of coming back. Even there's no like, if your team was good, yeah, but your team is terrible. You might as well just sit down, bro."
Who who do you think, or do you know? I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna quiz you and see if uh, you know who right now has the longest current playoff drive. Who hasn't made the playoffs in the NBA in the longest amount of time? Because it was the Kings.
Pistons.
Let's see.
You don't know?
I'm looking it up right now.
I know it was Kings was like 17 years.
I Yeah, I would say okay. So the longest active drought is only 8 years. Pistons is 5. That number one is actually pretty easy, to be honest. It's an easy.
Wizard.
No, Wizards made it.
Oh,
Wizards made it with Westbrook 3 years ago,
oh,
which is really
okay.
forgettable.
Let me look at all the teams. Not the Bulls. They made it recently. Oh, is it Charlotte?
Yep, the Hornets haven't made it in 8 years.
Last time they made it was with Kimba and then played the Heat.
It was with Kimba and Big Al, Big Al
Oh my
Jefferson,
god.
and Nick Batum.
We've
And
entered the big out portion of the podcast now.
yeah, we're gonna talk about Al Jefferson for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, I
Al
mean,
Jefferson, I mean, a man of the times. He was a good post scorer. He had the footwork like Zebo.
I'm gonna look up Al Jefferson's career. Um,
Funny enough, Al Jefferson, one of the few players who never made an All Star appearance, but made an All NBA team.
what's crazy about he's only 39. He could. I mean, he's younger than Braun is.
Yeah, his game just those post guys who just scored down low and hook shots and up and unders and you know they were out of the league. I mean they couldn't keep up because they couldn't shoot. I mean,
Oh my God! So the year that the Hornets made the playoffs last, Al Jefferson was on the team. He averaged 21. This is the best year of his career. 21 points, almost 11 rebounds, and he finished. Guess where he finished in MVP voting that year? He was third team All NBA. But he finished in the top 10 of MVP voting. If you want to guess,
was he like eighth?
he was number 8 in the MVP voting.
People
Al
fucking
Jefferson.
people casted and someone put Al Jefferson on their MVP ballot. Big Al Jefferson.
He finished ahead of Paul George, LaMarcus Aldridge, Kevin Love, Tim Duncan, Dirk, Carmelo. Somehow Dragic and Mike Conley are on this list in MVP voting.
Mike Conley.
But this year that Kevin Durant won it by almost. I mean, LeBron got 6 first place votes. Durant got 119. So, but yeah, Al Jefferson. That's crazy. This was the same year that Joakim Noah finished 4th in
God,
MVP voting.
what a year. Joakim Noah. If you're listening, we love you.
Yeah, I mean, Joakim Noah is definitely on our, just like most lovable players of all time.
I think if we're talking about our favorite NBA players of all time, me and James, we both agree that Joakim Noah is probably top 5, top 10
I
at
mean,
the worst. I
he's
mean,
he's on my top 5. I got Dirk, Luca, Joakim, and I mean, I can't think who else. It's those 3. I feel like.
yeah, Harden, Joakim. I mean, I loved Prime John Wall. I mean, I love Prime John Wall. I mean, trying to think of other guys who,
I love that 2-year run by Isaiah Thomas, but it just wasn't sustainable. But like he might be in my just that 2-year run of Isaiah Thomas in Boston was like some of the funnest shit I've ever seen. Like it was so fun watching him. I
it
will say.
was. It was. I did like that. I did like that Celtics team actually, with Isaiah Thomas. Um, yeah, I those Bulls teams with Joakim and they just no Derrick Rose. He was injured, and it was just all heart.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the game 7 of Bulls Nets like around I want to say 2014 it was that year that he won it defensive player of the year that year, and his game 7 performance. I'm gonna look up the stats, but I watched that game. I remember
He
thinking
was.
this is the greatest game 7 performance I've ever seen a player have. Let me
I
look
mean,
up the stats.
it
It's
was.
honestly incredible.
He was so fucking. He was so good. He just. Everyone always remembers him just because of his ugly jumper. Now, like he just took $70 million from the Knicks to party.
Yeah, the Knicks gave him 70 mil, and he even said, "Yeah, I went to New York and just partied the whole time." Okay, I found his stats. So he played almost 41 minutes. He's had 24 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, and 6 blocks. And the box score doesn't really even show how much. He just honestly was like, if he's not there, they don't. Well, I said, yeah. I mean, Come on now, 24, 6 blocks, 14 rebounds, two assists. I mean, they won the game.
Joakim was like, for me, I mean, for us, I guess. I mean, he was when we were watching back then. He was like the first center, one of the first centers I've ever seen have the offense run through him.
Yeah, I mean,
Like almost entirely. Like I remember when no Derrick Rose, he would just sit and just they'd give him the ball and they would just run plays and he would just feed the fucking shooters or pass it. I mean, he was the best playmaker on the roster.
he averaged 5 assists that year. He finished fourth in MVP, which remember to us was like, oh my god, a center's averaging 5 assists.
Now it's so common, but back then, yeah, like
I
five
mean,
assists for a center. I mean, especially
before, yeah, I mean, Jokic walked before Jokic could run. I mean, or Joakim walked before Jokic could run. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure there was centers back. I mean, like Bill Walton, I guess, back in the day. But
oh yeah, Bill Walton, who's the playmaking, and Sabonis.
Yeah, they ran through. Yeah, Sabonis. They ran through everything through Joakim. I remember watching it. I was like, dude, this is like fucking awesome.
I'm probably watched the Joakim no game 7 highlights. Honestly, just that it's honestly incredible. I mean, it's a game 7. You know,
Like win or go home in Brooklyn. I'm pretty sure it's in Brooklyn.
it was in Brooklyn.
His passion for the game is just all heart.
I remember they would like sometimes they would like his dad would be at the game and they would like the camera go to his dad and his dad just like screaming with passion, same thing as Joakim is like
Uh,
I
that
think
was
his
a
dad
under.
was a professional tennis player or something like that. I think.
Yeah, he
Right?
was. I think he was like a professional tennis player.
Yeah, I mean,
And Joakim Noah played alongside episode 2 of the podcast, Carlos Boozer.
oh yeah, Fellows Boots. They were very just a great duo kind of. I feel like for a while.
God, what a time, man! What a time in the NBA. God, we took it for granted.
We did.
I mean, it's the NBA now is. I mean, I'll always love the NBA, but it back then there was just something different, I guess,
There
because
a lot more meme guys. Guys, that's the biggest difference to me. Just a lot more like this NBA was just funnier back then.
it was like it was a lot
Teams
funnier.
were a lot more stupid. Like they would do dumb shit a lot more often.
Yeah, and the rivalries back then were just fucking in the Western Conference. All those Grizzlies Clippers series, all
Yeah,
those Grizzlies Thunder or like Thunder Clippers or sneak like the Rockets in there or those were those were all time. Those were all time greats. The East was always just Braun going cakewalk to
yeah. That's the
the
only bad thing was every year it was like, well, we know who's coming out of the East.
Yeah, it was like who's meeting Braun? Who's meeting Braun
Yeah.
in the finals?
The closest he came to losing was what the Pacers with Paul George. That was the
And
game 7.
it was
Oh, and 2018 he came out like close multiple times, but
Pacers. Pacers with Oladipo almost had him too.
in the first round, and then the Celtics took them to 7. But they were the baby Celtics. I mean, I thought once at game 7, like, yeah, I think Braun's winning this one.
That was a point in time in the NBA where like you just if even if it was a game 6 or game 7, if it had LeBron, you're like we know he's gonna win. I mean,
Yeah,
like it was like that. It would be shocking if a team just beat him in a game 7. Like when the Pacers and Cavs went to game 7, the first round with Oladipo, like I was like, there's no way. Like there's
yeah,
just no way the Pacers are going to walk in and win this game. It's just not going to happen.
didn't matter. I mean, he was Lathanos back then. I
He
mean,
was he was Lathanos. He was, that
he
is
made
true.
was it 8 straight finals he made?
Eight,
Right,
I believe, like 2011.
2011 to 2018.
Yeah, 2011 to 2018. He made 8 straight finals, which I mean you can't discredit. I mean, I still have MJ the GOAT. So, I mean, granted, I never watched him, So I mean, motherfuckers. Like I'm just an old head, I guess.
Yeah, I
But
mean, MJ's my go, but LeBron's number 2 to me. I mean,
LeBron's two, and I mean
Kareem 3.
Kareem probably Kareem three. I mean 4 and 5 is where it gets kind of. I think top three is like almost undebatable. I mean you probably if you're talking to a fucking 15-year-old, they're gonna say top three is like Braun, KD, and Curry.
Or Skip Bayless will have like Braun at number 9.
Would- yeah, right. Yeah, have
I think
like
he said it. Didn't he say it the other day? Skip said he had Braun at number 9. After he said he's the most entertaining player of any sport ever. He said, "Yeah." With that said, he's number 9 of my top 10.
I remember at times he'd be like, if he does this, he could move up to 8. Like, oh my god, I can't. I mean, we've never liked LeBron, but like we can't deny that he's the second best player. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a difference between just like being such a fucking hater and being like, oh fuck LeBron. Like I know he's a great player. Like he's an all time great. It's not. We just I think we were just burnt out on him.
yeah. I mean, it'd be different if he played for our favorite team, but like he was like for me like he was first finals I watched. He was the enemy, Then so it set a good precedent for you when I'm rooting against you for the first like playoff series. My first playoff run of my team, and then every year it's like, well, I like this Pacer team or this Bull team, and nope, Braun's taking them out every year.
Yeah,
So
it's like
it's just
I want
like
I want to see like Joakim Noah or like I want to see like Paul George and the Pacers. I want to see them make a finals and have a chance at it. Nope, doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. They don't have a chance. And they like this Atlanta Hawks team. They won 60 something games and had 4 All-Stars. It's like, fuck you.
But also the Miami Heat back then, they were the enemy because like that big 3 when that LeBron, Bosch, and LeBron and Wade or whatever, they joined forces. The whole NBA hated them.
Yeah.
Like
I
they
mean,
were
I
villains.
wasn't
And
I wasn't watching basketball and when that happened. Like so but I'm sure I would have been just as pissed off if I really was tapped into basketball like that.
yeah,
Even though maybe not. I mean, like, what relevance would that have had to me uh, as a Rockets fan with Kevin Martin, Luis Scola, and Yao Ming on the roster?
Yao Ming just retired.
Yao Ming,
You're grieving Yao Ming's retirement as LeBron joins the Heat.
yeah,
They
probably
shave him worse.
get a lot of flack, like but Yao Ming is extremely overrated. I mean, he was just tall. I mean, come
Yeah, I
on.
mean he's tall and Asian. I mean, he's in the
Is
Hall of Fame for being
he
tall
was
and
yeah,
Asian.
like no offense, but like he was Asian. He's Chinese. So like he brought a lot of fans in. So that had big impact on like the viewership and the global game. Like if
Yeah,
he was fucking anyone else, then like I mean, he was good, but he wasn't like he made an all-star game after playing like 5 games in the year.
he
I mean,
did.
come on.
He
Like
started
yeah.
over Shaq
I mean, he
every
was
year because everyone in China and Houston would just vote from in the All Star game, and
I
he
mean,
started.
T-Mac better player anyway at that time. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, Yao Ming, if he was white or black, he would not be in the Hall of Fame. Or isn't he in the Hall of Fame because he's Asian? Because of like what he did, like his resume is not Hall of Fame worthy.
is not. But then again, I mean, the NBA Hall of Fame is basically you can just,
Yeah,
you can get in it's a basketball Hall of Fame, I guess. That's why he's in. It's not the NBA. I guess it's the basketball. Like Manu Ginobili's going to make it. If he doesn't make it, it's a fucking crime.
yeah. Well, Ginobili, in my opinion, should be a Hall of Famer. Like,
I think the gold medal kind of cemented it just by itself.
yeah, that is a part of it.
I mean, when he took down Team USA, I mean, that was pretty much like that was it. I mean, That's hard to do. Manu, but people always said, bro, if Manu just had his own team, like he would have been all time great.
I mean, I think he was, I mean, he's like kind of like what, look at Hart. Hart once Hart got his old team. I mean, that could have been Ginobili. I think. I mean, I could see that. I mean, I think he only started 2 years in San Antonio, and both years he was an All Star.
Yeah,
But I mean, he won 4 rings. I mean,
I miss
very
man.
skilled player. He could do everything on offense. I mean,
God, dude. Yeah, I miss Manu. What a guy. That I always liked that Spurs big three.
yeah, those Spurs teams. I mean, they just people said like watching eat like or like it was like eating broccoli, but I mean, I fucking love broccoli. So I mean, watching the
Exactly.
Spurs
Me
to me,
too. Yeah, I'm tuning into that Spurs game because I like Tim Duncan, I like Manu, and Tony Parker.
oh,
Yeah, Tony Parker cheated on his wife.
he did with Brent Barry, his own teammate.
Tony Parker cheated on his wife with his teammate's wife. He fucked his teammate's wife. Tony
I just
Parker.
found out today that I don't know if you may know. Steve Nash divorced his wife once their baby came out because their baby was black, and I think his wife might have been I think she was light skinned, but
No.
apparently
What?
Leandro Barbosa was sleeping with his wife, and then Barbosa got the DNA test. It wasn't even Barbosa's kid; it was Jason Richardson's son or
This
kid.
is true.
I
This
didn't
is
even know this until
I've never
today.
heard of this. So they were all when they were all three teammates.
In Phoenix, yeah, I guess so. So not only was Steve Nash's wife sleeping with Barbosa, she was also sleeping with Jason Richardson. It was
And then
Jason
Jason
Richardson's
Richardson
kid.
was the one that fucking knocked her up.
Yeah.
That's
I just found this out today. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like,
I,
everyone was saying, how did we not know this?
I mean I can't believe it. That's that's fucked.
That is fucked.
I mean, just the thought of Steve Nash just divorcing his wife because his
Literally
baby.
the day after the baby was born, he filed for divorce. Like literally like the next day.
Oh my
Like just
god!
imagine you have a wife and the next day like she has a baby and it's not yours, and next day you file for divorce. Like that's just crazy. I mean, I
I,
would do the same thing
I
honestly.
feel like he's low key justified. I mean,
Yeah.
no DNA test needed. Steve Nash is just the whitest it comes.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
if you're white and your partner's light skinned, the baby should not be black. It should be like in between y'all's skin color. It should not be black. Like that's just science. So he was justifiably right, and then he was proven right the DNA test. But
God, you would think. I can't believe we've never heard that. We know so much random fucking shit.
yeah, about
Like,
the NBA,
yeah, we probably know more than like 98% of fucking the population, and
I would say
can't
99.
nine. Yeah, we know the most random fucking shit imaginable. Like, and I can't believe I never heard of that.
One of the funniest things I found out this year as well, like NBA stories, with like players we have watched have now retired, and like they go on like a podcast. And I think I sent you this video, but the video of Lou Will talking about how he was in New York and they had a noon game the next day, and he was out in the club, and it was like 2 o'clock. He's like, I should go home now, or somewhere around there. It was like maybe midnight, and he said some baddies walked. And he's like, all right, I got. He stayed out longer, and then before he knows it, he's like, it's like this club, the lights are coming out on the daytime. It was like 8 a.m. or some shit, or 7. Like they're shutting down the club finally, and he goes to the game, and he's still drunk. And he's on the Clippers at the time. He tells Doc Rivers, like, yo, I'm drunk. Like, I after like he had 2 turnovers in his first 2 plays, he's like subs himself out the game. And Doc says, you're playing the whole second quarters. I need you for the fourth. You're playing the whole second quarters. I need you for the fourth. And then he ended up dropping like 20 in the fourth
Just
quarter.
completely fucking hammered.
Because Doc says, I need you to sweat that shit out in the second quarter because for the fourth. And it's something like imagine just showing up to the game just drunk and you end up like winning the game for your team. Like
What, playing basketball drunk sounds fucking awful.
Like you still, I'm sure in the fourth quarter you felt better, but I mean,
It's like people who go to the gym high. It's like, dude, what is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Ugh, God,
I
I
had
don't know.
teammates in college who would run high, and anytime I smoked, like my whole body would hurt. So I'm like, even if I was just sitting down, my body would just like hurt. I'm like, how are y'all running right now? Like they said they liked running high. I'm like, bro, I hated doing anything high. So the fact of like working out, unless there's like different strands, I mean, I don't know. That's fucking crazy to me.
I don't want to do any physical activity, just in general. So it's like, why would I want to be under the influence of anything doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. But Lou Williams, shout out to Lemon Pepper Lou.
Yeah, I mean he's lemon pepper Lou. There's a video of Fred VanVleet playing basketball high, and you can see it in his eyes. He's high as shit. He's on the Raptors. He's like, the caption said, I know someone high when they're playing," and you can just like see his
I
eyes.
think
He's high as
I think I've
shit.
seen that before.
He's like doing like these like crazy like drill moves and shit. Like he's just putting up
I know
shots.
one's high when I see it.
Yeah.
Ready? I'm gonna have to look that one up. That's fucking funny.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, how long have we been going on? Been like a
It's like
smooth hour and a half.
has it
It's 9:45, so it's
started
been
at yeah. I would say it's a good. I mean, I feel like we said by everything.
well. We might be back next week, just the two of us as well.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, we'll get some. If so, we'll collect maybe some fun facts or some NBA trivia that will.
Yeah. Well, and we might even pull up some clips. We might go video next week as well.
Yeah, we might watch some videos and kind of put our little
Give
commentary over.
give
See
our
how.
reactions. Yeah.
Yeah. So
This is like the prequel, you know.
yeah,
Two versus. This isn't like a Hail Mary. There's not four guys going deep pause display. It's just two guys running go around today. You know,
that we're doing the run and go route.
two
So
versus podcast today.
yeah. So uh, maybe Hunter and Devin will come back. Maybe they never come back. But
Yeah, we'll see.
until then,
Actually, this is really the J and C effect, or the CandJ Effect, our song, really.
yeah, this is the CandJ Effect. I was
Shout out the CandJ Effect on Spotify
go listen to
or
it.
Apple Music. Go check it out.
Go listen to James Marbury on all
CBT.
platforms. I'm on a song.
Yeah,
New album in the works.
you're on the album as well with Hunter. Actually,
I am on the new album.
your
So
album is it's basically done. It's got to do a couple more things, and then I'll start doing the rollout for it.
yeah, so stay tuned, and maybe the CandJ Effect will be back next week. Just us, and we love everyone listening.
Yeah, thank you. We all
Thank you,
appreciate every listen.
thank you for supporting the dream of
Yeah, if
two
you listen,
two white males. Uh,
if you listen this far, you know Colton will give you $100. So
yeah,
just
yeah,
comment.
yeah. I got again. I'll give you again.
Did you ever give your name his money?
No, I'm a
Yeah.
fraud.
How about this? If you comment your Zelle, I will Zelle you $1 if you comment right. Only one person. Not going. Well, I'll do five listeners. If five listeners, if you comment your Zelle, I will Zelle you $1 to five listeners. So
Do Cash App because Zelle it might be attached to their phone number, and I don't know if people want to comment their phone number.
or or Cash App. I mean,
Well,
either
Cash
way,
dollar for
I'll give
making
you $1.
and comment below your three favorite NBA players of all time.
Yeah, we gave ours. Dirk, Luca, Joakim Noah. Who is yours? Harden, Noah, and who?
I would say Harden, Joakim, and I don't know, to be determined. I'll figure it out. But you list your favorite 3 or 2, whatever you want. But we'll respond to the comments
Yes.
and give our honest feedback of your top 3. If it sucks, we'll let you know.
Or if you have any NBA opinions or questions, I mean, we're the guys to go to. So.
Yeah, we're happy to answer or
respond to your comments. So
exactly. So we'll be here. On that note, I guess we're gonna go play some 2K.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah. All right.
Adios.